Good evening. I'd like to call this Naperville Township Board of Trustees meeting to order. I'd like to invite everybody to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right, please call the roll.
Schultz.
Here.
Anderson. Nobody here. Just got you. Mound.
Here.
Osira.
Here.
Wegner.
Here.
Santucci.
Here.
Okay, I believe we have five, not six.
We have a full-
Five members of the Board of Trustees here. This evening, we have a quorum and we can do business.
Okay.
Are there any addenda to the agenda? Okay. Hearing none, we will go ahead and move on. The next item of business is public comment. I'd like to invite any member of the public to speak for up to 3 minutes on any topic related to township government, or the township.
Come on, Chris.
I can make something up, but no.
Okay, I guess I'm not hearing that there's any public comment tonight, so we will move on to the consent agenda. First, we need a motion to establish the consent agenda.
Second.
That's the approval of the December 13th, 2016 regular meeting open session minutes and accepting the social service provider quarterly reports from Senior Home Sharing and 360 Youth Services. We have a motion and we have a second. Is there any discussion on establishing the agenda? Okay, please call the roll.
Mound.
Yes.
Osira.
Yes.
Santucci.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yep.
Wegner.
Yes.
All right, so we've established the consent agenda. Is there a motion now to approve the consent agenda as established?
So move.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mound.
Yes.
Osira.
Yes.
Santucci.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yep.
Wegner.
Yes.
All right, and so the consent agenda is approved by the board unanimously. Tonight, we don't have any presentations and special recognition. I don't have any old business, so we'll move on to new business. And the first item is to approve a resolution for a budget line item, interfund transfer for the general town fund. We're asking for approval of a $10,000 transfer from the from the Administrative Division Equipment Capital Outlay to the Administrative Division Ride DuPage / PACE to cover additional Ride DuPage program expenses. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the budget line item for intra-fund transfers for general town fund.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mound.
Yes.
Osira.
Yes.
Santucci.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Wegner.
Yes.
Thank you. We approved that item. We'll move on to the next item of new business, which I guess mine got stapled together by me, which is the to approve the elected officials' travel expenses in accordance with the Local Government Expense Control Act. This, as I mentioned at our last meeting, is a standing item on each of our agendas. We have two items before us tonight. In compliance with this new legislation from the state of Illinois, any travel expenses by elected officials are required to come before the board for a roll call vote. So indeed, that's what we have. We have some travel expenses from Trustee Santucci for the TOI conference, Township Officials of Illinois Conference in November for mileage. And then we also have Assessor Dixon also for mileage related to a couple of conferences that he attended. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mound.
Yes.
Osira.
Yes.
Santucci.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Wegner.
Yes.
All right. And so those travel expenses are approved. We will move on now to reports, and we will start with our assessor, Warren Dixon.
No report this evening.
Okay. And Highway Commissioner Watasiak.
No report, all's quiet on the Western Front.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully tonight will be okay.
And move on to our town clerk, Barry Greenberg.
Is
I've
the wind
had
gonna
several
affect trees or
communications.
anything? Will the wind affect trees or anything?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had several communications with the DuPage County, including a letter from the Election Commission recanting its position opposed to mine with regard to certain consolidated primary issues, and another letter from the county clerk congratulating me for handling the statement of economic interest issues that arose within the township. Other than that, all's quiet on the front.
Okay, very good. And myself, supervisor's report. I had hoped to bring to the board for approval tonight the 2017 Ride DuPage contract, but we're actually have asked Pace some questions about the cost from the 2016 program. The three townships are on board with changing the allocation basis, as we've discussed over the course of the last year, to a more of a usage basis. Miles is the basis that we're looking at, but some of the costs are higher than what had been originally estimated in 2016. We want to make sure we understand that, whether that's just usage. You know, those costs are estimates, so you know, nobody knows exactly how much the usage will be during the course of the year. But we want to make sure that we fully understand that before we move forward with the new year's contract. Plus, we're going to have to get them to revise that new year contract to the revised to the new allocation basis. So I hope to bring that in front of the board next month. There's nothing impacting the program itself. The program is continuing to operate very well, and everybody's you know, engaged in their supporting roles doing that. I'd like to thank everyone who participated in the budget development workshop that we had last Saturday. I know Trustee Santucci, you were engaged with family business. So you know, if there's anything I can do in the short term to bring you up to speed, I'd be very happy to do that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I would assume the other department heads would be happy to do that as well. I'd like to just thank everyone for coming out for that. I thought that went well, and we're on track to have our tentative budgets ready for the board to approve at our February meeting, and then those will be on display for at least 30 days before they go for approval to the board at our April meeting. That's the plan. And then one of the big things that we did last month in the board, you know, it's an outcome of our special meeting that we had at the end of November 29th, was that we have the 2017 health insurance plan, you know, in place. The enrollment is all complete. Everything's been all complete for all the eligible staff and officials, and it you know, everything looks on track in terms of, you know, managing the costs in the way that we described, with a small increase in cost based on the same population of employees. So that is all that I have tonight. Trustee Malm.
I've just attended a couple of Naperville Chamber lunches this past month, legislative and monthly luncheon.
Trustee Santucci.
I have nothing.
Trustee Schultz, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Just getting up to speed here at the township, and also attended the luncheon for the chamber.
Wonderful. And Trustee Wagner. You know, I do want to mention, I'm going to go back to my report. I had hoped to have someone here this evening, and her schedule just really conflicts with our board meeting schedule, so I'll have to figure something else out. Her name is Kay K, let's see, McLean, but from Scarce, and I forgot exactly what the acronym stands for, but they are a quasi-government entity for DuPage County focused on conservation and recycling. Carl, I'm sure you're familiar with them.
Yes, they work
Yeah.
quite a bit with the Forest Preserve. so-
Right. And I had her in recently and was very impressed with the scope of what they do and the connections that they're able to put together around all kinds of things. And so I was wanting to bring her in for a presentation to the board. I've invited her next month. We might also have a conflict. I think she has a kind of a standing workshop at that time, but we'll figure something else out, some other way to just, involve everyone in that knowledge, which I think is quite excellent. And then we have our attorney, Adams.
I have no report for the open session.
Okay. All right. And then we move on to the audited bills and claims. It's my understanding that the audit is complete. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then, so we'll move on to the approval of bills and claims. Item 12.1 is the approval of the town fund bills and claims for the month of December 2016. Would someone make a motion in
I
that?
move that we approve the town fund bills and claims in the amount of $177,786.17.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, please call the roll.
Melton.
Yes.
Osira.
Yes.
Santucci.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Wegner.
And those are unanimously approved. We'll move on to the road fund bills and claims for the month of December 2016. Would someone make a motion in the amount shown?
I'll make,
We approve the road fund bills and claims for $159,415.34.
Second?
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mel.
yes.
Osira.
Yes.
Santucci.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Wegner.
And those are also unanimously approved by the board. That brings us to closed session. We do need to have a closed session this evening to consider one or more of the following subjects under the Open Meetings Act. Section 2C1, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the township or legal counsel of the township. 2C11, pending or probable or imminent litigation against, affecting, or on behalf of the township. And 2C21, minutes of prior meetings lawfully closed under the Open Meetings Act for the purpose of review, approval, or release of such meetings. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So move.
Second?
Okay, please call the roll.
Mel.
Yes.
Osira.
Yes.
Santucci.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Wegner.
Yes.
Okay. So we will now convene into closed session. So we have returned now to our open session. And so we have a couple of items of business remaining. The first is the approval of the closed session minutes from December 13th, 2016. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, please call the roll.
Mel.
Yes.
Osira.
Yes.
Santucci.
Yes.
Schultz.
I'll abstain.
Okay.
Since he wasn't here.
He wasn't
I
here.
wasn't here.
Right.
Yes.
So those are approved?
1 second.
Sure.
That motion was made by Carrie.
Me. mhm.
Second by me.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Brings us to item 14.2, which is our semi-annual review of the closed session minutes. And I'd like to ask for a motion to approve a resolution for the release of certain closed session minutes in full, actually partially, related to the period July 2016 to December 2016, and the continued redaction of certain closed session minutes in whole or in part, and the destruction of certain closed session verbatim recordings made prior to July 2015. So let me just take a moment to break that apart. The first piece was the release of certain closed session minutes in full. From that period, there were no closed session minutes to be released in full. The second part was the continued redaction of certain closed session minutes, which would be the September 13th, 2016 minutes, and then the release in part partial release of the July 12th, 2016, and the December 13th, 2016
Got it.
minutes. And then the destruction of certain closed session verbatim recordings made prior to July 2015. And there's nothing that we've approved for that. No destruction of any verbatim closed session recordings made prior to July 2015. Nothing, to be perfectly clear. So we have a motion.
So moved.
And a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Do we need to stipulate what part we're releasing?
I just did.
Oh.
It was, I'll say it again.
Because what's going to be released will be public anyway. It doesn't need to be real specific. It doesn't have to be specific. It's like section 3.
Oh, I'm sorry, right, no, it'll be released.
Right,
I mean, it'll become public.
Right.
And so, when we do that, when we post our open session minutes, they go on our website, they go into the, clerk's files as publicly available. So when we partially release, because we don't do this very often, those will, our intention would be to also post those on our website as partial release of the clerk. Whatever form of publication we make,
Right. Do the
we would
same.
make exactly those same forms of publication. And of course, this resolution would be public information as well, and which will put everything all in detail and catalog. Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. Any discussion? Okay. Please call the roll.
Malm?
Yes.
Osira?
Yes.
Santucci?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
Wagner?
Yes.
All right, and so those are approved. There is no other final action on any items from closed session, so all we need is a motion to adjourn.
So, second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned, thanks.